Hey, how's it going? I got a question for you. Do you know how your metabolism works? Stop for a second and think about what actually happens with food inside your body. Your metabolism is a constantly running machine. Now, with all the misinformation and confusion about the topic, I thought I would try to break down some myths about how your metabolism works. So that's what we're going to do with this video series, and if you stay till the end of this first video, I will share with you a food group that is actually backed by science to help improve your metabolism. Now let's science. All right, to start, let's get a definition of metabolism. Essentially, it's a very complicated addition and subtraction problem. Remember those bonkers word problems where they asked you to solve an equation stemming around some dude at the grocery store buying 37 watermelons and then leaving the train station at Chicago at 2 p.m. and you had to determine if his train would intersect with a rocket ship traveling to the moon? That's basically what your metabolism is like. Don't believe me? Have a look at this. This monstrosity is your metabolism. Crazy, right? So it's no wonder how this topic can get confusing. There are two words that are important when trying to understand the balance of this crazy math equation. They are anabolism and catabolism, or you may have heard the connotation anabolic and catabolic. Anabolic means to add, so that is the addition side of this equation. And catabolic means to break down. So using the math analogy, it's the subtraction part of the equation. And what all this math stuff boils down to is energy balance. And that adds the variable of calories from the food you consume. The calories equation is simply known as calories in versus calories out. If you're trying to increase your weight for any reason, you want more calories in than you have calories going out. If you're trying to lose weight for any reason, the opposite is true. Calories out has to be higher. If you're comfy with your weight as is, then you want to be about equal. Now, before we get into the first myth about your metabolism, if you want to take a deeper dive into understanding how your metabolism works, comment below with the words deep dive. So I know folks want to get into the heavier science of all of it. Okay, myth number one. I have bad genetics, so I'm stuck with a poor metabolism. There is some truth to this myth in that our genes do play a role in how our metabolism works. Our genes are sort of like an in-depth blueprint that tells our body how to function. We get this blueprint from our parents, and depending on what genes our parents provide us, this determines what machinery we have at our disposal genetically. As far as metabolism is concerned, the genes we end up with can affect how efficiently our bodies use the calories we consume. Take Sally here. She's eating some soup. In this example, Sally's genes prohibit her body from efficiently using the calories from the soup or whatever else she eats. And because of this, her metabolic functions are impacted. And looking at her calories in versus calories out equation, it can potentially be skewed in how efficiently her calories out gets handled, and if not properly managed, can lead to weight gain, even though her calories in are where they should be. So if Sally is born with a set of genes that lead to poor metabolic function, she's doomed, right? Well, not so fast. Yes, if we are in the group of folks like Sally that have certain genes that adversely impact our metabolic function, then it is fair to say we have to combat these genetic functions with a little elbow grease. But how do we do that? There are several ways, and they all center around controlling the things we can control. We don't have access to reach inside ourselves and flip on or off a genetic switch, but we can do things that in a way can help flip the switch in our favor. The first thing we can do to combat metabolic inefficiency is to get quality sleep. I completely understand that this is something of a premium for some folks, and I am not in any way saying suck it up and find the time to sleep like so many of these gurus tell you, because trust me, sleep is absolutely a premium for me, so I fully get the struggle. With that being said, do your best to take advantage of quality sleep opportunities when you can. Sleep is literally hitting the factory reset button. That is when our bodies shuttle out the junk to get rid of it, repair tissues, and essentially set us up for success for the next day. So do your best to get the most sleep you are able to within your schedule, because again, I get the struggle. The second thing that you can do to help combat a wonky genetic metabolism is ensure you drink enough water in the day. I will do a full video on hydration because it absolutely deserves its own time in the spotlight to really dive into how water impacts our bodies. But I want to give you a takeaway on this today, so without getting too deep into the weeds on this, simply aim for drinking your body weight divided by 2 in ounces. For example, if you weigh 200 pounds, aim to drink 100 ounces. There are a lot of water bottles that are inexpensive on the market that have ounce markers on them. So go pick one up and simply fill it up and sip on it throughout the day until you hit your number. However, it is important to remember that if you go from drinking minimal water, you are going to pee more often until your body adapts to this new water intake level. So just take it slow. You don't have to go from no water to goal water immediately. Ease into it and just simply add a couple of extra glasses of water a day every so often until you reach your target goal. By taking it slow, this will help minimize the extra annoying pee time. The next thing I'm going to touch on that you can do to offset these metabolism shenanigans is to add lean muscle tissue to your body. On average, lean muscle tissue burns between 7 to 10 calories per pound per day. Fat tissue only burns between 2 to 3 calories per pound per day. So by adding lean tissue, even if you do not reduce the fat tissue on your body, that is a solid boost in the calories in and calories out equation. Remember back to the addition and subtraction, or anabolism and catabolism? By adding lean tissue or muscle to your body, again, taking things we can control and controlling them, you automatically get a more favorable metabolic efficiency rate. There are several factors that affect how you add lean tissue to your body. Obviously, you need to hit the weights, and no, adding lean tissue to your body, whether you are biologically male or female, is not going to instantly make you look like a beefy bodybuilder. The body does not work that way. So don't be afraid to hit the iron and add some lean tissue to your body, regardless of your gender. There's another key step in this process of adding lean tissue that we'll get into in a second. First, I want to really tie everything together from what we've touched on so far in this video. Sleep and hydration levels also play a role in helping add lean tissue. Sleep is when you repair the body after you hit the gym, and water helps improve performance in the gym by lubricating joints and shuttling nutrients where they need to go. Now, for those of you awesome folks that stuck around to this point in the video, let's unearth a food group that's scientifically shown to improve metabolic function. Okay, with expectations tempered, let's get into it. The food group that is scientifically proven to have metabolic efficiency improvements is protein. Yes, protein is all the rage now. There's protein cereal, protein water, protein everything. But no, you do not need to buy into the hype and eat any or all of these gimmicky foods to increase your protein. More on this when I make a protein series of videos, as that's not really the purpose of this video specifically. So let's get into how protein as a macronutrient impacts metabolism. First, going back to the controllable factors that we have already touched on, protein can impact all three of these. Regarding sleep, by consuming adequate amounts of protein, you give your body the amino acids that it requires to do the rebuilding of tissues and create enzymes involved in shuttling the bad stuff out of the body while you sleep. Regarding hydration status, this one actually goes in reverse in that it's the hydration status that helps the protein. You see, when you are properly hydrated, the water helps to shuttle the protein throughout the body and also lubricates the proteins to allow them to function properly. And regarding building lean tissue, when you are in an anabolic state in the body, as in trying to build stuff, you need building blocks to build with, and that is exactly what protein provides: amino acids, which are the building blocks of muscle and other tissues in the body. So you can see why protein plays such a big role in our metabolism. But wait, there's more! You see, even independent of these listed benefits, protein also has a significantly higher thermic effect in the body compared to carbohydrates, especially simple carbs like sugars, and dietary fats. What that means in simple terms is that our bodies must work much harder to break down protein compared to other macronutrients. There's a double whammy of benefits in this scenario as well. First, because the extra effort our bodies go through to break down protein, there is an increase in energy expenditure. Again, remember the math equation, which means more calories burned overall. And second, because it is harder to break down the proteins, it takes longer for the body to navigate the digestion process, which in turn keeps us feeling full longer, which encourages the ability to avoid unnecessary snacking or consumption of extra calories. Again, the math equation, this time the calories inside. With all this information at your disposal, you can now easily navigate the myth of bad genetics means you can't improve your metabolism or your metabolic function. At the end of the day, you have to control what you can control. The rest is, well, out of your control. So try not to stress that stuff and just focus on tackling one of the above things that we discussed today. Do not try to come out of the gate swinging by trying to change all of this at once. Start small. Focus on one thing at a time, and that is whichever area above is easiest for you to tackle. Work on that one until you feel good about it, then move on to the next one that you think is controllable for you and repeat. Do me a favor, comment below which one of these areas is the one that you plan to start with. And remember, keep your mind as sharp as your knives. Until next time.